Connelly Early is going to be an absolute stud for the Boston Red Sox starting rotation.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part, it's all completely free. So make sure you're tuned in because Locked On is here for you every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the show. Congratulations on being halfway through the week. I know I mentioned earlier this week my episodes were dropping a little bit later than normal. That's due to the fact that I was traveling, but also the 10 p.m. games make it a little bit difficult to have the turnaround time that I typically have, but I will be back on track tomorrow, I promise, with the episode being released first thing in the morning for all you morning commuters that tune into the show when you're on your drive to work. But the Red Sox are having a phenomenal series against the Athletics right now. And while it is the A's and they don't have a great record, there are still some talented hitters on that team. And they have given some really talented pitchers struggles this season. So it's very telling and very promising that the Red Sox have now recorded 2 straight shutouts against the A's, completely shutting down that offense and playing good baseball. And this is a time where the Red Sox need to win baseball games. And this is a team that the Red Sox have to be able to take advantage of and capitalize on winning games. And their last West Coast trip didn't go that well for this team. So the Red Sox had gone from playing 14 games in 14 days, having a day off, to then going and playing on the West Coast. So this is a tough stretch, and they didn't play well in the series against the Diamondbacks, but they have been able to bounce back in this series. Big afternoon game today to close out the West Coast swing before the Yankees come to town over the weekend. And part of what has made this Red Sox series so good for them has been their pitching. And Connelly Early absolutely shined in his Red Sox debut last night. I'm going to be discussing that on today's show, as well as giving an update on Romy Gonzalez and talking about the bright future for the Red Sox pitching staff. So Connelly Early went into his major league debut last night, not fully expecting that to happen because he had been scratched from his start with Worcester on Sunday. And the assumption was that he would start the afternoon game today for the Red Sox, if anything, because Dustin May was scheduled to start last night. But then all of a sudden the Red Sox said Dustin May is being placed on the injured list. Oh, by the way, we're calling up Connelly Early to make his major league debut for this Red Sox team. So it came a little bit of a day early for him, and whether he was expecting to make his major league debut at all is up for questioning. I'm sure he suspected that there might be a chance that happens when he was scratched from his Worcester start on Sunday. He said, wow, maybe I'll be making my major league debut, but obviously probably didn't want to get his hopes up just in case that was not the case. But so essentially, they ended up pushing him up a day early. He started last night, and to say he was dominant feels like an understatement. I mean, he is so special, and the way that he carried himself in his outing last night with so much poise just shows how special this kid could be. He had his teammates raving about him. Aroldis Chapman even went up to him and shook his hand in the clubhouse pregame yesterday, which meant a lot to Connelly, who grew up a Reds fan and actually had a fat head of Chapman on his bedroom wall growing up. So this is a guy that he looked up to as a pitcher, and now he gets to be on the same team as him. I mean, how cool is that? It's just so special to have an experience like that where you make your major league debut on a team like the Boston Red Sox, such a historic franchise with lots of winning, and you get to play alongside somebody who you looked up to as a kid. It can be nerve-wracking for any player to be stuck in that kind of situation, but he didn't show at all that he was nervous. And one of the best things that I liked about this outing was that he showcased a very complex pitch arsenal. His changeup is certainly his biggest weapon. That is his put away pitch, and he felt really confident in that pitch. He had a slider that he was mixing in there. His curveball was very strong. So he has a good combination of off-speed pitches that's going to allow him to be able to succeed at the major league level, because it can be a struggle for a pitcher if they don't have enough pitches developed. We saw it with Peyton Tolley from his first start to his second start. Obviously, I don't want to overreact from just one outing because he's only had 2 major league starts, so he just didn't have it in his second one. But one of the biggest rooted things that I pointed out about Tolley is that he certainly has a fastball that plays at the major league level 100%, and he has a changeup that he throws well, but he doesn't have enough pitches really up his sleeve right now to where he can find consistent success at the major league level. So the biggest thing with that is having to develop more pitches, whereas Early seems to have more pitches up his sleeve that he can utilize. So that's something that he really has going for him that's going to allow him to find more success. He was officially called up to the Red Sox yesterday, and the corresponding roster move to make room on the 40-man roster for him was placing Vaughn Grissom on the 60-day injured list, ending his season with ultimately no major league appearances, which is super unfortunate for him. He's had a tough go since being traded to the Boston Red Sox, not really having fully that opportunity at the major league level. So hopefully he recovers soon and he's able to find a home in Major League Baseball, whether that's with the Red Sox or otherwise. And Dustin May has neuritis in his pitching elbow, so they're going to be monitoring that too. So that was kind of the biggest roster move that was made for the Red Sox, was Vaughn Grissom going to the 60-day IL to make room for Connelly Early, and they have to monitor Dustin May. But they are so happy, certainly, that they had Connelly Early make the start. He threw 5 innings, giving up 5 hits, no runs, with 1 walk and 11 strikeouts. He was unbelievable. He threw 90 pitches with 61 of those going for strikes. This kid should be so proud of how he performed. Obviously, something's going right at the minor league level when it comes to developing these pitchers and getting them ready to perform at the major league level. He was the Red Sox number 5 prospect. He had 19 whips with a 41% whiff rate and 38% CSW percentage. What exactly does that mean? So CSW rate essentially is a metric that measures a pitcher's effectiveness and ability to generate swings and misses. So he was able to generate tons of chases, tons of swings and misses, and that was key in this outing for him. He also tied the Red Sox record for most strikeouts in a debut. I mean, talk about a way to kick off a career. He joined some really strong company in his outing, and particularly that has to do with his strikeouts. So his 11 punch-outs tied Don Aasi for the most strikeouts ever by a Red Sox pitcher in his MLB debut, and he joined some really nice company there. So Aasi had 11 in 1977, joining Early with 11 in 2025. This is total strikeouts in your major league debut. Dice K with 10 in 2007, Dave Moorhead with 10 in 1963, and Marty McHale with 10 in 1910. A few fun facts about Don Aasi is that he never recorded more than 8 strikeouts in a game after his debut and was traded after the 1977 season for Jared Rummy. Familiar face, right? So also, only 3 players in MLB history have allowed 0 runs and 1 or fewer walks while striking out 10 or more batters in their big league debut. One of those is Early. The second is Steve Woodard, who debuted for the Milwaukee Brewers in 1997, and the third is Hall of Famer and 10-time All-Star Juan Marichal. Ironically, all three of these players pitched for the Red Sox, with Woodard throwing for the Sox in 2003 and Marichal in 1974. Early, additionally, is the first pitcher in MLB's modern era to have a debut in which he threw at least 5 shutout innings, walked one batter or fewer, and struck out more than half the batters he faced. It's worth noting that the A's lineup obviously isn't the best in baseball, but they do rank 5th in all of baseball in team batting average with the 254 and home runs with 199. So it's not like it was the easiest lineup either. So definitely not a cakewalk that he was going up against, and he really impressed. But among all of these stats, perhaps the craziest could be that his 11 strikeouts were his most in any game since at least high school. His highest strikeout total in the minors was 10, set during a September 2nd start for the Woo Sox. He struck out 10 batters on 2 separate occasions at the University of Virginia, but never reached 11 Ks. So essentially, he lit it up in his MLB debut and clearly earned a spot in the rotation until further notice. So very exciting for him, and it's easy to root for him. I mean, the kid works so hard, and he's always out there grinding. And one of the things that I liked about it the most from all of this was just the fact that he showed so much composure out there. He had base traffic a couple times, but he was able to get out of it. It's not like it was smooth sailing the entire time. He did give up some hits and allowed base runners, but he was able to execute and throw the right pitch when he needed to. And that was what was most important here. So I'm really excited to see him continue to pitch. Rob Rapsnyder said his poise on the mound was fantastic. He let out some emotion after some big strikeouts. You can't really have a better way to start your career, which is so true. He will remember this moment forever. And he was prepared. He knew what he had to do, and he went out there and he did it. So he was super happy with himself and the way that he pitched. He just thought it was such a cool experience to be able to go out there and pitch in a Boston Red Sox uniform, something he's always dreamed of, pitching at the major league level. And it's always unfortunate if somebody makes their major league debut and they just get shelled, but that was just not the case with this kid. So I really liked a lot of what I saw from him. As long as he continues to expand on that arsenal and utilize those pitches properly that he already utilized in his major league debut, this kid's going to be special for the Boston Red Sox. And that is so indicative of where the Red Sox future is at, which I'm going to be discussing a little bit later on the show. But it's so exciting to see a kid like that go out there and shine. So hopefully he can continue to showcase that dominance, especially when he throws against tougher lineups. So we'll see how things go there. But coming up, I'm going to be giving an update on Romy Gonzalez, who unfortunately did have to leave the game early last night. If you like sports betting or you're looking to get into it, there's no doubt that FanDuel is the place for you, especially with the NFL season being underway. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it actually fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. You are going to win lots of money on FanDuel, so why not take advantage of it? Something else you should definitely take advantage of is Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. Whether you're at work, out with friends, or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. The Boston Red Sox certainly did not disappoint us last night as they came up with a big win against the Athletics 6-0, a second game in a row in which the Red Sox shut out the A's, and they've been playing good baseball in these last couple games here, and that needs to continue if they want to secure a playoff spot sooner rather than later, because imagine how much less stressful things would be if the Red Sox were to be able to lock down a playoff spot in the near future. That would be awesome. So hopefully they continue to play good baseball. And Connelly Early is a big reason why the Red Sox had such a good game last night. He absolutely dominated in his major league debut. So it was great to see that as well. But some unfortunate news that came out of that game was Romy Gonzalez having to exit after once again being an unlikely hero for the team. He had a pair of big swings out of the leadoff spot to spark that 6-0 win, but he came out of the game after only 2 at-bats because of left knee soreness. But good news is he doesn't expect to be out of the lineup for long. He didn't wait around to extend his hitting streak to 12 games last night. He's been on an absolute tear. He led off the game with a solo home run off Athletic starter Jeffrey Springs for his 9th home run of the season and his 7th off of left-handed pitching. And then in the top of the second inning, he was at it again. He ripped an RBI double to right field that ultimately scored Nick Sogard, which gave the Red Sox a 5-0 edge at the time. But that was unfortunately all for him in that game, as he had to depart in the middle of that inning with left knee soreness. The Red Sox just can't catch a break right now. So many injuries as of late, and they literally just cannot afford to lose another first baseman / second baseman because he's really been playing both positions, especially one who's swinging a bat like he is right now, because he is red hot at the plate right now. But the good news is it doesn't sound like he's going to be sidelined for more than a game. He said his knee kind of locked up when he was taking the field for the bottom of the second, but said that the injury was nothing too serious. Alex Cora confirmed that he was day to day after the win, and he expressed confidence that he'll be able to be in the lineup Friday night when the Red Sox open a massive 3-game series against the Yankees at Fenway. So essentially that means he'll get a day off for today's afternoon game when the Red Sox go for the sweep against the Athletics. And then the team has an off day tomorrow, so he'll be able to rest for 2 days and hopefully be good to go on Friday. Nathaniel Lau, who replaced Gonzalez last night, will likely be the Red Sox starting first baseman for the matinee today. So that's fine. I mean, he's been durable too for the Red Sox, but with how red hot Romy's been, it's definitely a bummer that he has to miss some time. Luckily, it's best case scenario, though, and he doesn't have to be placed on the injured list, because placing players on the injured list seems to be the Red Sox' second full-time job this season with all the injuries they've had. He's been an unsung hero for the Red Sox offense this season, as he has been putting together a stat line of a .311 batting average, a .345 on base percentage, and .507 slugging slash line to go with an .852 OPS, 9 home runs, and 48 RBIs over 84 games. He's been exceptional against lefties in particular, though, as he has slashed a .347 batting average, .396 on base percentage, and .636 slugging against southpaws. His 1.032 OPS against lefties is good for 5th among MLB hitters with at least 50 plate appearances against left-handed pitching. So just a reminder that OPS stands for on base percentage plus slugging. So he's getting on base a lot, and not only just getting on base, but hitting for extra bases a lot against lefties this year. So when there's a lefty on the mound, the Red Sox need Romy out there. And that's one of the biggest reasons why it's tough when he's going to be missing games, just because you want your best guys to be out there on the field to put your team in a position to win. And in this case, Romy's going to have to sit out for a game, and the Red Sox are going to have to tread water and find other ways to score without him. And it's been a lifesaver for this Red Sox team how well he's been playing, because once Tristan Casas went down with his injury early in the season, the Red Sox first base situation was a question mark, not really knowing who was going to play there. Were they going to pick somebody up? Were they going to just go internal? So they ended up calling up Abraham Toro, and then Toro and Romy were kind of platooning first base for the longest time, for a good chunk of the season. And then they ended up picking up Lau, but the scenario didn't feel like it was the best. It felt like, but Abraham Toro was producing so much early on when he got called up. He was one of the Red Sox best bats in the lineup when he first got called up, and then he started to fall back a little bit. And then Romy has been on an absolute tear, so he kind of changed the outlook altogether on the Red Sox first base situation. And it's been really nice to see that, because you look at where the Red Sox were at right after Tristan went down and feeling like first base was going to be a huge problem to where they're at now. And Nathaniel Lau hasn't obviously been remarkable. I mean, he's definitely had shining moments for this Red Sox team, and he's gotten some big hits where the Red Sox need it, but I wouldn't say he's one of the best hitters on the team. But he has been getting the job done and helping the Red Sox to win games, and that is what matters. So when Romy's not playing first base, he is, and vice versa. And that's been a big thing here, is that the Red Sox first base situation has been a lot better than people thought it was going to be, and a lot of that is thanks to Romy. But when Romy exited the game and people saw Lau coming in, it was another moment of, oh no, not again, because of yet another injury being added to the table, because the Red Sox have lost so many key players to injury this season that having that happen again to another key player is just something that people wouldn't even be able to entertain. I mean, I can't even fathom what I would have been feeling if it came out that Romy was going to miss an extended period of time. Then the Red Sox really would be trying to tug at some deep strings to try to figure out who was going to contribute at first base when Lau wasn't playing in that spot. And it was just going to be a lot of moving guys around. And if you think about potentially where the Red Sox lineup could be right now, if it was fully healthy, imagine what that Diamondback series could have looked like. Because one of the biggest reasons why the Red Sox struggled against the Diamondbacks was because they weren't getting timely hits, and they didn't really have players out there in the lineup who could help them drive in runs when needed. And you think about a guy like Roman Anthony, who, if he was out there, probably would have driven in some of those runs, and that entire series could have been different. Obviously, every team deals with injuries, but it has just seemingly been more and more excessive injuries for the Red Sox this year compared to what we've seen in years past from them, and really from teams in general. So it really makes you wonder what's going on with the Red Sox training staff right now, which is obviously a conversation for another day. But the good news is Romy is not expected to miss a lot of time. The Red Sox are going to need him in this upcoming weekend series, because this series against the Yankees is so important. They are so close to each other in the standings right now. And this is a series the Red Sox absolutely have to win. They've dominated the Yankees all season long with an 8-2 record against them. So they're going to need to field their best players. And Romy has been a guy who, while he has the durability and flexibility to be able to play multiple infield positions, then just his ability to be a utility infielder, because of how good of a season he truly has been having. So 12 hitting streak for him. Ideally, that would continue. Him taking a couple days off might throw him off with that a little bit. I hope it doesn't, but he's just been on an absolute tear. And when you need those big hits, he's been coming up with those big hits, and he helped the Red Sox jump out to a big lead early in last night's game to take a significant amount of pressure off. Being able to see that, I loved that Romy was one of the biggest contributors offensively for this Red Sox team, and that he continues to just be one of their best offensive contributors every single day, really, going out there. So good news on him. Don't have to worry about yet another Red Sox player going to the IL, because how unfortunate would that be? So glad to hear that it's nothing serious there. But coming up, the Red Sox future for pitching is really bright, and there's lots to be excited about. We all have scenarios in which we make last minute plans. I do it all the time with my friends, and sometimes we decide, hey, let's go to this sporting event tonight. You can grab the best last minute tickets on Game Time. It gives the advantage back to fans because you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered to you on time and at the best price. Plus, all the fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay with no hidden fees later on, because I hate when sites don't tell you what the fees are and then it ends up being a lot more expensive at the end. They don't hide any of those fees. It's all right up front. They show your view from your seat so you make sure it's not obstructed before you get tickets. It truly is the best ticketing account. And use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Type, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Game Time is truly the best. I love taking advantage of it, and you 100% should too, especially if the Red Sox hopefully make the playoffs and you want to go to some playoff games. Speaking of the playoffs, the Red Sox have had a good season this year and years ago, even from last year to now. Last year, they were kind of hanging in the playoff conversation for a lot of the season, but they never really came to a point where they were definitively a playoff contender. The difference is this year they actually are a playoff contender, and they are sitting in a playoff spot, whereas last year they ended the season at 500. This year, they're going to finish the season well above 500. And it's a good feeling knowing that they've made a lot of strides in the fact that they likely, hopefully, knock on wood, will be a playoff team in 2025. So that's really exciting to think about all the talent they have in front of them right now to formulate a playoff team. But not only that, their future is also really bright, especially from a pitching standpoint, because the Red Sox are in a situation where they have some veteran pitchers on the staff, like Aroldis Chapman, who's been there, done that, knows what it's like to win. And a lot of these younger players can learn from guys like that. Dustin May, even, I know he's hurt right now, but he's another veteran with experience winning that could help teach some of the younger players and show them the ropes. But then you also you're on in their careers like Garrett Crochet, Brian Bayo, Tanner Houck, those types. And then you take the newbies like Hunter Dobbins, Richard Fitz, and then even Connelly Early and Peyton Tolley, guys who have gotten a taste of the majors, but haven't really gotten a lot of exposure to it yet. And that's an exciting thing to think about, because that's a lot of talented names that I just rattled off. This is a group of players that all have a ton of potential to succeed in this Red Sox rotation. If you have Garrett Crochet at the top, no doubt about it, he is going to be the Red Sox ace. Great bounce back outing for him the other night after what was a rough one in his last start prior to that. So he's going to be the ace. So then you look at everybody else. You look at the season Brian Bayo's having and how he has truly turned himself into a true number two starter. He is a guy you can rely on in that number two spot to be able to get you what you need productivity-wise. So as long as Bayo continues to improve the way that he is going to be a talented pitcher in that rotation. Then you look at 3, 4, 5. Tanner Houck's likely missing all of next season, so he probably won't be in the mix. But there are several options there are Peyton, Tolley, and Connelly Early guys that the Red Sox see as being part of that rotation next year and beyond. The chances are high that probably they will be guys that the Red Sox will have in that rotation moving forward. So then you kind of have your 3 and 4 starters taken care of. The next question is, who else do you slot in there? Hunter Dobbins, who was pitching really well for the Red Sox prior to getting hurt. Is he somebody that fits into that equation? Kyle Harrison, who is also being recalled from AAA today. So after all this talk of Connelly Early, now you have another pitcher in Kyle Harrison who's being promoted from AAA Worcester, and he's been pitching really well in Worcester, so you can get excited about him and where he's at. So as a result of this, the Red Sox optioned Chris Murphy back down to AAA, who struggled a lot with his command in last night's game, pitched the 9th inning and took far longer to get out of that 9th inning than he should have. So Peyton Tolley is still expected to make the start. It'll be a shortened start while pitching on 4 days rest, which is considered regular for the first time this season. So Kyle Harrison will be active today and could serve a long relief role behind Tolley. We'll have to see, but he's pitching well. He's a former top pitching prospect who owns a 4.48 career ERA in 182 2/3 major league innings with San Francisco. He's logged 50 1/3 innings over 12 starts since being traded on June 15th to the Boston Red Sox. He has been up and down throughout that stretch, but does own a 3.75 ERA, allowing 21 earned runs on 53 hits with 5 homers and recording 50 strikeouts. The Red Sox have considered him as a rotation replacement on multiple occasions, but had yet to call him up before now. He has been dealing with a minor ankle injury that required an MRI and an odd lead up to this week. He made a 3-inning start on August 26th, then didn't pitch until Sunday when he threw a single inning in preparation for a potential promotion. So if he does play today in the game, he'll be pitching close to home. He actually attended De La Salle High School in Concord in East Bay City, located less than 70 miles from Sutter Health Park. So he's really excited. And the Red Sox could have been leaning towards sending Connelly Early down after his debut in an effort to maximize roster flexibility. But because this kid dominated, they definitely will not be sending him down anytime soon. So Tolley, Early, and Harrison will all factor into the rotation mix down the stretch, with Dustin May being added to the injured list. So that's another thing to think about now here again is Kyle Harrison somebody who's going to be worked into that rotation next year and beyond. So this last few weeks of the season here before the playoffs is a great way to determine what they have in those guys, in Tolley, Early, and Harrison in particular. Do they see all of those guys being part of the rotation next year with Bayo and Crochet? Do they try to acquire another starting pitcher in the offseason that can help enhance the rotation even more and then use some of those guys in long relief? There are lots of options for the first time in a while for the Red Sox when it comes to pitching, and it's a great feeling, and I'm just really excited to see how the Red Sox utilize all these guys because they definitely are in for a very bright future. So hopefully, with all this talk about the bright future, they can also continue to execute down the stretch here, get the sweep today, have a big series win over the Yankees, and secure a playoff spot because we just want playoff baseball in October in Boston. So we'll have to see how everything goes, but thank you for continuously making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. For your second listen, be sure to check out Locked On MLB Game Night, which reviews every game every night until a World Series champion is crowned. Our local experts will give you analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So make sure you check out that show next. And like I always do say, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I'll catch you on the flip side.